So, Twelfth Night, or what you will, is a later comedy of Shakespeare's. By later, I mean a second set of comedies. He started early in the 1590s with the romantic comedies, As You Like It, Midsummer Night's Dream. Twelfth Night marks a kind of turn in comedies that we'll have to talk about a little bit. But let me just give you some more general introduction. Twelfth Night is a reference to January 6th, the Feast of the Epiphany. In Shakespeare's time, actually from early Christianity throughout most of the 18th century. Christmas was a very long event, but extending past traditional December 21st into January, it was a full 12-day celebration. January 6th marking the Epiphany, that is at least understood by early Christians as the day in which the Christ child was announced to the rest of the world. The story of the three wise men were connecting the Christian world to the wider world and what was to come. In terms of lived experience, however, Twelfth Night refers to the long revelries that went on. This was a time of partying and merrymaking, and lots of things could happen. The world got a little topsy-turvy. That's why it made it an ideal time to place a play, right, where you could play with the idea that strange things happened during that time period. So that's what Twelfth Night is. And it takes place during the holidays, and it is, of course, to Shakespeare's most famous, what we would call maybe today, gender-bending play. We have to remember in Shakespeare's time a couple of facts. One general fact is the world didn't exist with the strict categories of gay, straight, trans, etc., that we do today. But in some respects, that made the world much more open. That is, it was assumed or understood, what we are coming to understand now in a much more complicated way, that gender identity and sexual preferences were fluid. They existed on a spectrum. People had all kinds of different attractions to people, and love was a wide-ranging thing. It doesn't mean there wasn't some pressure towards what we would call heteronormativity through the church and marriage and things like that. But generally speaking, that world, Shakespeare's world, was remarkably open in simply understanding the human nature of things. And you see that played out in a couple ways in the play. Keeping in mind, too, of course, in Shakespeare's time, there were boy actors. Girls or women couldn't play on the stage, so parts of women were played by young boys. And of course, in this play, opens up with a lovesick Orsino pining away after Olivia, who is pulled herself away from the world, always a bad thing in Shakespeare's mind, because of she's mourning the death of her brother. And what happens to reawaken her to the world is the appearance of what she thinks is a young man, but is actually Viola in disguise. So this is a play like so much of early modern drama, but this play in particular that plays with or explores what has become a central theme of the modern world, which is again that gender identity, that sexual preference, all those things exist on a spectrum, and human experience always have, always will, and turns it into a comedic feast.